Okay, so what does the Bible say about the two witnesses in the end times? Well, let's take a look. So I just did a random search on DuckDuckGo and just pulled up this page. And really, I just wanted this. So the first theory is it's Moses and Elijah. Seen as possibilities for the two witnesses due to the specific miracles that John says the witnesses will perform. The witnesses will have the power to turn water into blood. Moses did that, which duplicates a famous miracle of Moses. And the witness will have the power to destroy their enemies with fire, which corresponds to an event in Elijah's life in 2 Kings 1. Also, giving strength to this view is the fact that Moses and Elijah both appeared with Jesus in the Transfiguration in Matthew 17. I tend to go along with that as well. Further, Jewish tradition expects Moses and Elijah to return based on the prophecy of Elijah's coming in Malachi 4:5, which we'll take a look at. And God's promise to raise up a prophet like Moses, which some Jews believe, it could be Moses. Okay. They also think it could be Enoch and Elijah. Enoch and Elijah are seen as possibilities for the two witnesses because of the unique circumstances surrounding their exit from the world. Enoch and Elijah, as far as we know, are the only two individuals whom God has taken directly to heaven without experiencing death. Proponents of this view point to Hebrews 9:27, which says that all men are appointed to die once. The fact that neither Enoch nor Elijah has yet experienced death seems to qualify them for the job of the two witnesses who will be killed when their job is done. In addition, both Enoch and Elijah were prophets who pronounce God's judgment. Yes, but Enoch never performed any miracles as far as having control over water at will or plagues at will. So let's take a look at things. So Malachi chapter 4, verse 5. Behold, I will send you Elijah, the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. Now let's go to Matthew chapter 11, verse 14. And if ye will receive it, this is Elias, which was for to come. Wait a minute. That says Elias. The other one said Elijah. Well, it turns out that Elias is the Greek version of Elijah. Now, if we go to Matthew 17, verse 10 is really where, well, I'm going to go back to verse 4, though. Then answered Peter and said unto Jesus, Lord, it is good for us to be here. If thou wilt, let us make here 3 tabernacles, one for thee, one for Moses, and one for Elias. That kind of backs up my thought that it is Moses and Elias. And his disciples asked him, saying, Why then say the scribes that Elias must come first? And Jesus answered and said unto them, Elias truly shall first come and restore all things. This is just my thought. I can't prove it yet, but I think that when Elias comes back, he's going to restore the earth to the way that it was before the flood. I, again, can't prove that. There might be a possibility that the ice canopy is reformed around the earth, but let's keep reading. Now, let's go to Revelation chapter 11, verse 3. And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. That's just another. That's an old English way of saying 1,260 days, which is 3.5 months. if you're going on God's calendar. Yeah, caught it in the edit. It's 3.5 years, not months. That's what happens when you get old and senile. Sorry about that. These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before the God on the earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth, and devouring their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. These have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy. That happened with Elijah. That also happened with Moses. And have power over waters to turn them into blood. Moses did that. And smite the earth with all plagues. Moses did that. As often as they will. That's why I think it's Moses. Now, the Bible specifically says it's going to be Elijah, then in the New Testament, Elias. It doesn't say who the second person is that I can find. Maybe it does, and I just haven't seen it yet. But this is why I believe it is Moses. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. So let's go down to verse 11. And after 3 days and half, so 3.5 days, you're seeing a pattern here. 3.5 months, 3.5 years, 3.5 days. Spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet. And great fear fell upon them which saw them. So after they're killed, they're going to be left in the streets for 3.5 days. And right here, and they of the people and kindreds of tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. I mean, they're just leaving them there on the road. Wherever they're dead, they're just leaving them there for people to see. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them, and make merry, and shall send gifts to one another, because these 2 prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. So these prophets are going to come down and tell everybody, hey, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. You're living ungodly ways. And when they're dead, people who don't want to hear that, who choose to not adhere to God's rules, they're going to be grateful over it. They're going to rejoice in the streets. They're going to love it. And after 3.5 days, the Spirit from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. So, after 3.5 days, God is going to revive them. Everyone's going to see them dead for 3.5 days, and God's going to bring them back the same way He brought back Jesus. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. And the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. And the remnant were affrighted, and gave glory to the God in heaven. So they saw this. They watched it happen. They saw these people die. And now they're giving glory to the God in heaven. So apparently that did enough to change their minds. So the 10 plagues of Egypt. This was all Moses is doing, of course, with God giving him the power and instructing him to do it. So who are the 2 witnesses? I can't prove it, and I'm not going to say that this is a fact scripturally, because I can't say that. Elias for sure, and in my opinion, it's also Moses. But just reading the verses, going over everything, I'm I'm very confident that it's Moses and Elijah. There's just a lot of things here that suggest it. So, all right, guys, until the next time, have a good one.